Aston Martin King, Luther dream, the young Denzel, the way he moved through scenes. I'm like a preacher that once was a fiend, a story of change that came with wings. Pretty as a skyline is my ally, son of the most, so from up high I shine. Suited and Prada, stay mellow like Lala. Young fresh with dollar, ladies go gaga. I'm the cum laude, top of the class. Black Wall Street, so my stock will never crash. Given what I ask, pure religion.
Hey, what's up? What's up, y'all? We appreciate y'all for checking in to the G Spot podcast tonight. Tonight, man, I got some special guests in the building. I got my boy Kenneth KB in the building tonight. And then we also got a Queen Alexis in the building tonight. She get represent for the AKAs. That's why I had to put that picture out there for you. We hope that y'all having a good time tonight, man. If y'all haven't ever checked us out, make sure y'all always check out the G Spot podcast, where we pick controversial conversations that are taboo to our community, and we talk about it. So tonight we got a very interesting conversation, but to talk about with y'all, like you saw the flyer out, we're going to be talking about Black parents or the Black community as a whole when it comes to leaving the nest at 18, and is it forced? And in a lot of cases, we kind of see that it could be forced, and is that setting our children up for failure when we push them out like that? But before we get into that, man, I'm pretty sure most of y'all have seen the whole situation with the Tulsa pastor. Oh, it had to be in Tulsa, right? Out of all the heat Tulsa's been getting, that's what you want to soil a name like that, man. But the situation that's going on with Tulsa, with the Mike Todd, the pastor in Tulsa, and the whole speeding situation. So for y'all who didn't see the video, I'm going to go ahead and play the video for y'all so y'all can see exactly what we're talking about.
Something and you don't see it clearly yet, but and you don't see it clearly yet, but you hear. And this is where most people would not face Jesus anymore. What most people would do is turn away. What I'm telling you is just as he's physically standing here, knowing what's coming, God's saying, can you physically and spiritually and emotionally be able to stand when getting the vision or receiving it might get nasty? I'm gonna say it in a point just like that. Receiving vision from God might get nasty. You mean, God, I just bought, in crazy faith, I just bought my dream car. And now you're gonna ask me to sell it back and ride in the hoopty again? Yeah, because the vision I'm about to give you, it might get nasty. And do you hear and see the responses of the people? What I'm telling you is how you just reacted is how the people in your life will react when God is doing what it takes for the miracle. What are you saying? This man was blind, and what he was trying to do with this man is give him his DNA.
So, as y'all can see,
what's going on with that?
Yeah, what's going on with that?
first part of the audio. I ain't really hear his setup, but I get he's spitting his hand.
Yeah,
I get it. I get the message.
I get the message.
Mm.
I get the message 100% for real. I get the message 100%, but could there have been a way, another way of doing the message? Devin could have been another way.
I don't know.
I feel like it was unnecessary. That's nasty.
That's nasty.
And I feel like he, instead of visually giving an example, he could have just verbally given an example, because we all know how foul and disrespectful it is for somebody to spit on you or spit at you. You know, that's like somebody putting their hands on you.
One of the worst disrespects, right?
Right. And then it's COVID. You know, that's just.
I get it. No, I mean,
it just wasn't necessary.
It wasn't necessary, but it did what it was supposed to do, though. We're talking about it.
Yeah.
The people in the church got a big reaction out of it. And his message was like, as God is fixing you or doing work on you, it's going to seem as if people are spitting in your face and like you're going to lose your dignity type deal. Is that, I don't know. The message.
I think it did what it was supposed to do, but not for the right reasons. I think us talking about it, it's still taken away from the message of like what point he was trying to get.
What was the message, though?
The message, for what I got out the message was that when people sometimes God bless you in certain things, and during your blessing, it might not look appeasing to other people, but you have to have your faith in God to what he is destined for you to go. Okay, that's what I got from the message.
Not even just appeasing to other people, but appeasing to yourself. Like it may not be going how you expect it to be going, but like it could get a little messy. But that's nasty.
Okay. Let me ask you this: would it be any different if the dude knew that the pastor was about to do that prior to him doing it? In your eyes?
Yeah. I think he knew, because it was rumored that was his brother. I've seen that a couple of times. Some people say that was his brother. I think for me, it's kind of one of those "what you eat don't make me shit" type situations. But at the same time, when you hold a leadership position, you have to be very careful how you use your platform. That's anybody. If you have a platform, period. So you have to tread light. You know what I'm saying? When you do certain things, especially to the point of that. And then too, you gotta look at the culture of the people where we live. Like, we don't play that spit, you know.
I'm not sure many people do, but let me ask you this: have you watched any of his previous sermons or messages prior to this?
I have.
So he might just be kind of shocking all type of preacher, you know what I'm saying? The people in his congregation might be semi used to that type of, you know what I'm saying, presentation of the quote unquote word or whatever you're trying to get at.
Yeah, some people might, but I think most people at that church, you could hear it. It sounded like they was.
It seemed like it would have been a little bit more. I heard a couple of, but I didn't hear no like, I wouldn't have been.
I heard one man, "How you better than me?" Like, I would have felt the same way, man, because I seen an article that somebody tagged me in earlier. It was a pastor over in Africa, and it was a woman saying that a demon came and
raped her or something like that.
Raped her, and
I saw that.
Ejaculated in her mouth, and she started. When we was in church, we called it what you call it? It's a word for it they use, you know, when you start regurgitating a lot of stuff. But purging, that's what they call it, purging, right?
What's that?
Purging. That's what we called it in church. That's what we would talk when I was.
What that mean?
Right, and she started gagging and every kind of.
Like okay.
Yeah. So, and then I saw another pastor over in Africa. He was sitting on people's faces, passing gas. Like, that was his way of blessing. It was pictures of him actually like sitting on people's faces.
That's I think there's some perversion.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think
there's some perversion in that.
There's perversion.
Yeah, some perversion in that.
Yeah. So you do got a lot of. I see why people are upset about it. Like, when you look at leaders and leaders.
I mean, like, but you got.
Even showing a video clip. It wasn't necessary for him to get. If he wanted a visual representation,
I think he would have been better off just spitting in his face without putting it out in his hand.
And said, "Hey, I'm gonna act like this is spit." You know what I'm saying? Say this is spit. and let me slap this in your face. You know what I'm saying?
Kind of
but I guess he wanted some kind of 3D reaction with his.
That's some kind of perversion out of that. I mean,
my brother ain't spitting in my face. Like,
I don't know, man.
Nobody's spitting in my face. But man,
check this out, bro. I don't know about all that. But you know what I'm saying? That dude got the mega church, so
yeah.
I'm assuming that was a semi-mega church compared to
Yeah, it seemed like a pretty big church.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't know. I think everybody's human. Everybody. I do think that. I don't think that he should be counseled. I think, but this experience should definitely teach him a lesson on how to. You gotta do better with those sermons.
I'm interested in seeing one of his other sermons, though.
Yeah, he did make an apology video.
Did he?
He doesn't. I mean, I'm not.
I wouldn't have apologized though.
After I did it. Good sermons.
So you have seen some
have
stuff.
Seen he did a series on relationship goals, and yeah. It was really
Okay. So I've seen too multiple times people said that he actually was a good pastor and they really didn't know how to take it. But I feel like, just like we said about the teachers, I feel like teachers get a lot of heat, pastors get a lot of heat. I don't want to get too deep into the teacher situations here because of what's going on in the city, and I want to know.
Oh yeah, man, you might as well. It's gonna come up. You know it's gonna come up.
One thing I will point out for everybody that does know about the Bellevue situation, one point that should always be made is that before we quick to judge a situation, we should definitely get both sides of the story. And I understand now we live in a very sensitive time as Black individuals where everything is sensitive for us, which it should have always been that way. But definitely investigate first for making it a racial discriminatory situation.
Man, that dude. But just be saying whatever, man. You gotta stop just saying whatever. You can't just be out here saying whatever, man. It's just
because that'll get people.
Everything ain't that. What if it was two Black teachers? What if it was a Black teacher on a Black student? Yeah. Okay, now you take the race out of it. So if you right is right, wrong is wrong.
They still don't want to blame the student though.
Yeah, it don't matter, but right is right, wrong is wrong. And the gray area in between is called clout chasing.
You know, I ain't gonna go too deep in. Like we said, we ain't gonna go too deep into
it.
Really,
man, really seriously.
I've only heard.
That's a good sound bite. You want a sound bite? Right is right, wrong is wrong, and what I said, right? It's black and white, right?
Yeah, black and white.
And the gray area in between is cloud chasing. Yeah, right is right, wrong is wrong. The gray area in between is cloud chasing. Yes. Right. Where do you fit?
You got the wrong with that one. Yeah. So we definitely don't. But. So tonight, like I said, man, we're gonna be talking about this. I've been having a lot of conversations with people on the job lately about parenting, and when you look into the culture of a lot of kids, a lot of young people. Well, I think now most people I know now they are staying home a little longer, but majority of the people that I know, especially in the area that I grew up in, it was after 18. That's it, and you will still hear a lot of parents today make the comment like, "Oh, I just got 18 years. So when she 18, that's it." You know what I'm saying? And then a lot of people, they'll talk it and won't really mean it. But then you have a lot of people who be like, at 18, like, that's it. Like, you're grown now. You're on your own. So I was doing a little study and I was looking at different articles. And it was, I saw this one article that was talking about how Black middle-class kids become poor adults.
Okay.
And
hold up, Black middle-class kids become poor. Okay, kind of.
Yeah. So the class they grow up in, they don't elevate to that. They always become a lower class. You know what I'm saying? And at the time of at this study, it was like they showed the how could I put this? The middle class, or I guess the percentage of the poor population, it was like 9-point-something% for a certain age bracket, but for Blacks, it was 27.6%. And it's funny though, I was watching a video early on Twitter with academics. I know he has a podcast out, and they were saying how he had a guy that his family were immigrants. They were Black, they were immigrants. So saying how they feel like a lot of Black Americans are lazy, and we come over, which I think a lot of Black immigrants feel like this about this. Which the thing is, we can't get offended by people who don't know the struggle of people who have been here for hundreds of years.
But do you though?
Yeah.
Or you just don't respect it?
No, I can respect it. But then I don't have to agree with it because I respect it. You know what I'm saying? I respect it by my reaction to not reacting to what you just said.
I get it.
You know, but I don't agree with it. I do feel like when it comes to blacks, when it comes to financial literacy, we lack extremely.
Oh yeah, we behind the power curve.
Yeah.
We catching up. To a point where the playing field it ain't close to fair, but we catching up though.
Yeah.
We behind though. I agree with it.
We've seen a rise in a lot of black entrepreneurs. Unfortunately, a lot of young people today are basically doing what they feel. They basically taking over their lives. I'm not gonna, because daddy wanted me to do this, I don't have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And they still can be very successful.
Yeah.
You know, in the process. I know with the study or whatever, it was showing that black families attain middle class status. When black families attain middle class status, the likelihood that their children will remain there or do better isn't high. So why do y'all feel that maybe that there's a situation going on with middle-aged kids, even though we are middle class individuals? Some people do not know how to maintain that class when they become an adults.
I think this is you want to jump in there? All right, so I'm gonna put it like this. If we're talking about going from middle class down a step, right, to poverty, that's because like the generation prior to them hustled to a point where I don't want my next generation to struggle like I do. So they do so much to a point where the next generation doesn't have to work so hard. So when you thrust yourself into adulthood or quote unquote adulthood, you haven't had to work as hard because you didn't have to get it like that because your daddy didn't have to get it like that. So now you getting it. I'm gonna give my child everything. So you don't have to work as hard when you have everything. So now you're on your own and you don't know how to get it yourself because you didn't have to get it. So you take a step down and eventually you got to work your way back up. So the next generation will be weak, strong, weak, strong, like that type deal. That's kind of how I feel on that scenario.
That's a good point.
I think it could be that. I think it could also be sometimes those middle class parents who are in the position, maybe they feel as though I had to work for this, like it wasn't handed to me. Like my parents didn't teach me. So you also got to figure it out. You got to figure it out on your own. But when that child doesn't have the resources or the knowledge, nobody's teaching them, how to prepare for this. They don't have the skills, it's a chance that they're not going to, go out on their own and figure it out. So that could put them in a lower status.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I agree with both points. I believe both of those have something to do with it. And I also believe that if a child only, and when I say this, okay, let me break this down as easy as I can because I don't want to offend nobody when I say this.
Somebody.
I feel like if a child has not seen much of an example of how a upper middle class or a higher class is, then how can they set goals to be that way? So if all I've seen into a certain point in my life was middle class or poor, that's all I know how to do is just to survive. And I think now we get into that mindset, we have a survival mindset now with a lot of people. A lot of people were, instead of raised on love, they're raised on survival. Like you said, how we gonna get it? You got to get it on your own now. And I think with the kids or with people who aren't mature enough to know that there are better ways to come about doing certain things, then of course it puts them in a box to where this is all I see. Just like you go to a circus and you can see an elephant walking around and you know that this elephant can tear all of this shit up, but the elephant don't know that because it's been inside this small gate the whole time and they have trained him to believe that this is the only way, this is the only thing I could be and I can't overpower this. And then when all of a sudden, when that elephant does realize, you know what, I'm bigger than this, then they're going to automatically make the elephant look like he's a violent creature. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I get
so I think that's how it is in the Black community as a whole. Sometimes we get people who move outside the box, and sometimes people in our own community will say, "Oh, you think you better?" No, because I finally thought of a way to get out, and it might not fit in your rules of how to live, but I had to realize that, and this is for everybody, you have to go outside the rules to survive.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what it is. And I think that's what the problem with a lot of our kids face today is that they feel like there's limitations, especially when being Black. We'll tell each other over and over again, you could be this, you could be that. And then when you see other people trying to be things that they want to be, you tell them, oh, no, you don't supposed to be this because you're a man. Or no, you don't supposed to be this because you're a woman. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's messing us up way more than we think it is mentally, for real.
But so, I know me personally, at 18, I was ready to. I mean, since that was the benchmark, I was ready to leave, though. You know what I'm saying? I was kind of ready to go. So it wasn't. I had a certain standard that was already set. But even if I didn't have any pressure to leave, I think I was ready to go, start my own, do my own thing.
I think that's what I think it's for a lot of people too. They kind of get just kind of fed up. And when I was at the barbershop earlier, I had a conversation with my barber about it, and he said the same thing. He was like, a lot of these kids, especially the boys, they ready to leave, you know. And I think that's for multiple reasons. And then a lot of times too, I realized in the Black home, after watching certain videos, a lot of times the Black home, it becomes kind of like a dictatorship. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna do this, you gonna do that.
See, that's exactly like, who wants to live like that?
Yeah.
Like, so I don't think it's as much as you're 18 now, you have to leave. It's more like, okay, you're 18 now, you're an adult. You know what I'm saying? You have to live to a certain standard, or you have to leave from up out of here. So I know a lot of parents that don't want their children to leave, but if you still have to abide to a certain standard to live here. You gotta do this to stay here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you ain't doing this, then you gotta leave. And that's the point, man. I'll be in a rush. I can't wait till you get 18. You could buck if you want to while you're a child, but once you're 18, you know what I'm saying? You have to live like this to stay here.
Yeah.
I think it's more so that I think in the Black community, when I was coming, I think I'm a little older than.
I think I agree with you on that too. And I think what could be fixed between that is, instead of saying what you have to do, still, even if the child is of that age, you should maybe just have a conversation of, what are your plans now? Okay, well, what's your plans with this now? What do you see yourself within this amount of time? So, because I'm gonna tell you what I expect. So we could meet each other halfway.
Yeah.
If you up in here, you can't be up in here not doing nothing. My grandma always told me, you only help people trying to help themselves. You know what I'm saying?
True. This is true.
So if you're not around here, you don't have a plan, which I do get at a lot of times. I'm a firm believer that college isn't for everybody. And that's just what it is. I feel like there's different ways to educate yourself. Besides college, I feel like people should definitely look into trades. I definitely feel that, you know, or what I do see with a big problem in the Black community, that a lot of people go and get degrees in areas that they don't even end up working in. And so that causes a friction with them being able to find ability, getting a job, finding a career that they actually interested in. Now you're working in some office upstate New York or something like that, and you hate the job, you don't even got a degree in it, you know. So I definitely feel like people should outweigh their options when it comes to
it's level too. I think men are more pressure for men to get out the house quicker.
Oh yeah.
Than women. You know what I'm saying? Given certain situations, what they talking about on here?
Yeah, definitely given a
legal.
Oh man, we got my sis, part of the Balaywa clan. She said, "It's my birthright to be successful and have wealth and abundance. When you believe it, you attract it, and you no longer operate with the poverty mindset." And see, even with that, her saying that, the thing is, a lot of us do not surround ourselves with like-minded people. We surround ourselves with people that looks like they're having fun right now, and instead of people who looks like they're trying to find success.
I agree with her. It's her birthright. You know, we got wealth and abundance, but everybody doesn't seek that wealth. You know what I'm saying? Unsought wealth is what? It's just stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I understand. So me, I got 4 children, so I like the older generation type of thinking is kind of gone. You know what I'm saying? So I try to teach them as much as I can. Everything, you know, how to get their credit right. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's the decision to make. So that's why I came back to the, like, okay, you grown. So how many chances you give your child to do this, that, and third? Yeah. At a certain extent, you know, they might need to have to do their own thing.
Yeah.
I'm saying you could come back, you know what I'm saying, but I ain't saying 18 is the age, but yeah.
I know Sherelle said different generations, different expectations. We were taught 18, we're grown as adults. Now we realize we weren't. So we taught our children, this generation, nurture, not survival. We don't want them to suffer as we did, which is good or bad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Gift and a curse.
Yeah. And which says it said 18 is legal, not grown. I want my kid to stay with me until she builds credit and finishes college or a trade. Why create unnecessary bills and debt? I agree.
Okay, let's look at that for a second.
Okay. About the bills and debt?
No,
this one?
Yeah, that I want my child. Okay, but what if your child wants to leave? Are you gonna Yeah, she said she wants her child to stay at the crib until she builds credit, if I'm not mistaken, and gets herself established. But what if your wants aren't the same as the quote unquote child's wants? Are you gonna try to grasp on it and keep them from going to do their thing, even though it might be against what you think is the right thing to do? Because that's basically what, you know what I'm saying, how you learn, trial and error. You could tell me all day, you could tell me everything to do, how to set everything up, how to blah, blah, blah. That don't mean I'm gonna do it. I gotta figure that out on my own. I'm not gonna limit my child, but I ain't gonna stop them. I mean, I'm gonna stop them with the knowledge that I'm gonna get them. You know what I'm saying? But it's only so much I can do, because everybody, once you get to a certain age, it could be before 18.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I can't stop you.
Because I've heard people say they left home at 16, 17. So
create boundaries. If she wants to, she can, but I would create boundaries.
Yeah.
How do you create boundaries for a grown person that wants to leave?
I guess when it comes to them coming back.
Okay, I did understand that.
Yeah,
you can't just be ducking in and out of here like that.
Yeah, okay, you want to get out, you come back. But look, we're gonna have to set some ground rules, because this can't be a repetitive thing. Like, if you're gonna leave, you're gonna leave, but you can't come back in and out. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said,
Mom ain't gonna say no though.
Yeah, most parents don't say no. Most parents, it depends on if it's a boy or a girl, though, I think.
I done came back a few times.
It depends on a few things, not just girl or boy, but like it could come down to the parent themselves. Like I left at 18, but I'm back living with my mama, and it wasn't ideal for me. I mean, she wanted me home, you know, and it worked out in my favor because I'm saving money. But even then, it's like I think naturally, just, you know, when it comes to the system, we go to primary school, you know, we go to secondary school, middle school, high school, and that just so happens to be the age that we graduate, right? Yeah. So to figure out what's next, that's why it's 18. Yeah. You could be 17 when you graduate, you could be 19. Right. Just depends. So whether you go into the military or go to college or trade school, whatever, I don't think there's anything wrong with you know, a child or a young adult, however you want to phrase it, going off, but it's like a matter of, are they prepared for that? You know, don't push for that child to leave at 18 if you know that child has no skills to quote unquote survive. Or, you know, I know for me, I left. I was gone. I knew I was leaving. Like when I was in high school, just when it came to like my grades and stuff, all the teachers pushed school on me. Yeah. And so I have no regrets, but I do agree that college is not necessarily for everyone. You know, it was for me. I knew I wanted to be initially wanted to be a nurse, but then I switched over to, you know, teacher education. And so you obviously have to be degreed or qualified in that. However, for me, it was, I want to leave Pensacola. If I stay here, like this is, you know, it's not that it's not going to be bored. Like I knew that I was bigger than that. And not to say anything is wrong with Pensacola, because I'm obviously here and I'm serving and I enjoy being here. But I just felt like it was necessary for me to leave, to the point where I wanted to go to FAMU, but it being in Tallahassee was like, oh, that's too close. And I saw that a lot of people who were going to FAMU or going to TTC or the TCC, they were coming home every other weekend. And I was like, I'm not trying to be that close to the crib where I'm coming home. So UCF, one of the reasons why I chose that school was based on location, because it was in Orlando. I knew I wasn't going to have access back and forth, you know, home. That worked for me because I was disciplined. Although I enjoyed partying, you know, and doing my thing, I also knew that I was there with scholarships and, grants, and I wasn't trying to lose those things. So if I'm gonna go out and be out at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, I need to be up for that 7:30 English class. You know what I'm saying? Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That's not for everybody. So pushing the agenda for the child to leave at whatever age, it's okay because they need to learn independence. They need to learn to be an adult so that the cycle continues, so that they know how to be an adult for when they have children. But I feel like with that being said, you have to prepare them in those ways, because if they have no discipline, if they have no knowledge or skills of how to survive, chances are, they could go away and struggle.
Yeah. So, but I'm saying though, but it's your job to make sure they have some knowledge and skills to survive beyond formal education. And I ain't gonna say 18 is that prior age, but that's enough time for you to get it set up. So I mean, like, without any kind of learning restrictions or any kind of thing like that, by 18, you should have had the job done by then, I think. You know what I'm saying? But hopefully.
I think, like you said, it depends on the parents. You have a lot of people who I know personally, they wouldn't let their kids work while in school. You have some parents who cool with that. I think too, you have to look at the parents' situation as well. For a lot of people, they might be the first generation to go to college, and if you came from a family and you've never seen, or your family never was in a situation where they were financially set to go to college, which means that they probably do not have the financial literacy that you actually need to survive. It could be a delay with that process. I think we have to look at our situations, man, like the situations we grow into. We inherit a lot of stuff from generations that came before us, and we just have to. And people say you all the time, like, it's on you. Oh, well, you should know this, or you should have this, you should do this, but you don't know what cards they have to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know that. So a lot of times, I know for me, I wish I was able to do or be into certain more things, because I wish I was able to spend more time with my dad. A lot of things I didn't learn because I couldn't spend more time with my dad, because he was doing his own thing. Not saying that he wasn't around, but he was young in the streets doing his own thing because he never had a dad. So there was a lot of things that I lacked in that area that a man should have taught me that I didn't learn. And I think that's for anybody, even when it comes to education or just lifestyles, period. You have to look at how the parent grew up. And I think with a lot of the parents who do push that whole, when you're 18, you out of here, they come from those type of backgrounds to where they just feel like, I got you as a responsibility now. I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do by law, but after that, it's on you.
Or they started real early, like I did. Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, I started early, so you got to do you. I'm ready to do what I was supposed to do. So I said, no social skills.
But don't you think that's kind of like setting the kid up?
Nah, not necessarily, man. I think time goes faster nowadays too. Like she said, if you go back up, she said these kids are really emotionally intelligent. Like some of these kids really are nowadays. I got 4 of them. They range from 22, 20, 16, and 9. I see the development, the different stages in the development. Like my youngest son, he can have a very, very, very decent conversation with you, and his emotional intelligence is pretty high. So I think you set them up for the right thing, they ready. And I think it's almost like you kind of cripple them if you don't encourage them to lead to a certain extent. Or like at least you're gonna set them up for success to your best, but you kind of encourage it. You kind of want to nudge them. You know what I'm saying? Lead in this. Yeah. Because like, see if you can fly. Yeah. Like fall, but I think it's some encouragement. You still kind of encourage them to be as independent as they can. You know what I'm saying? Within their realm, you know your children. You know each one of your children's extent. You're gonna push them. You know what I'm saying? Within you can't teach nobody what you don't know. Yeah. That's all you could teach. But it's a continual learning process. You learn each one of your child, boom, boom, enable them crutch.
Yeah, I feel like you were saying too. We see a lot of young parents now. That's the first thing they say. It's a post that go around on Facebook, and people feel like, people be mad at me because my parents did what they were supposed to do, and it'd be I think being a parent, you see people now, and they be like, you ain't got no kids, you can't say nothing. But being a parent is an you forever learning.
Yeah,
being a parent. I would expect that you like even when you were blessed with the opportunity to be a parent, you did not know what exactly to do. You only went by observing what others did with raising children. You know, so I feel even at that age when a child is still kind of learning themselves, you still trying to learn the child at the same time. And I think it's sometimes overlooked that did I really teach them what I should have or could have taught them to survive without me? And I don't think a lot of parents really question that. They just kind of throw you out there and feel like, oh, well, this is what you need to do because you're a man now. Okay, well, but if I haven't seen exactly what all a man's supposed to be doing.
All right, boom. Let me ask you this then. All right, I'm gonna ask you and I'm gonna ask you. All right. One name, okay, let's name what's one thing as a woman that you should know? And we'll go back like one thing as a man you should know. You know what I'm saying? Like that to totally prepare you for childhood. Like it's not a manual, you know what I'm saying? So, but if there was a manual, what's the first thing you would put for a woman?
I feel like just from like an early child, it would be like how to care for yourself, like personal hygiene, like how to present yourself as a person. But that's not being a woman. That's something you need to know in general.
You know that. So, I mean, like what are the lines draw that? What's one thing for a man you think that?
Before she picked that, I was gonna pick hygiene.
Yeah.
But what I would probably say is how to deal with emotions.
Boom, man. Emotions.
Yeah.
You took my answer, man. See, that's how I get. I'm gonna say, jeez, man. Sexual responsibility.
Sexual responsibility.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sexual
I guess you could tie emotional too.
Yeah. Being able to be, I think, a big thing with us, and I'm not going to even say it's necessarily a problem. I'm gonna say it became a problem when we had to mold ourselves into a different culture as far as being African American. But I feel like when it comes to being sexual, how can I put this? Sexually disciplined as a man.
Yeah,
and
that's a good time
your
for
emotions, tie into that too, knowing that I don't have to lay up with everything just because it looked good, you know. But I feel like that's a whole nother subject I'm gonna get into one day, even with getting into that.
Shawty said she had some rules in her house. And, one of them was no fucking in my house. Can I say that?
Yeah.
She said no fucking in the house. I agree with her. But when I said sexual like responsibility, one was I don't want you procreating because you ain't done yet. But two, like the exchange of energy. But I wonder why she said no fucking house. I wonder why the child was grown though. Why not? I know she's still on that one, and she gonna answer that. Somebody answer.
Would you be okay with your child having sex in your house?
Listen, I don't know. I don't have no kids. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
But first of all, I don't know. It's one of those things where I know it's gonna come, so I have to have that conversation with my children or whatever about it. I feel like of course, if you're under my roof, 18 and under, I'm not okay with that. But if it's a situation where like I'm older, my child is an adult, with someone, they're coming home and visit, like y'all grown, I'm not trying to be I'm not trying to experience it, but at the end of the day,
I'm saying like
I feel like if they were married, or in a long-term relationship, because I do accept the fact that everybody's not
in the house or just not while she's there.
Yeah. So I feel like, and if I don't hear it,
that's a good question though. Well, it's not in the house or not while you're there. Because I don't know. I mean, listen, check it out. I don't. If you've ever had sex in your mother's house, or it's hard to stop. I mean, you can't stop no grown folk from like you probably snuck and got something else. So I'm just saying like, not while you're there. I mean, it is kind of but
you gotta be quiet.
If you letting them do everything else and make all these other grown folks decisions, potentially helping you with rent or paying or whatever the case, they grow. I mean, I don't know. I'm on some others. I'm just saying.
No, I get what you're saying 100%. I feel like it depends on the situation. I feel like sex. I feel like we kind of are the only ones that make sex a taboo. instead of just teaching people how to be disciplined when having sex. The problem is not having sex, it's a way that you do it. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like for me, if I had kids and they were adults and they were old enough to handle what was going on, then I'd be cool with it. As long as I don't hear it.
I don't want to be a part of it.
Yeah,
like
I don't want to hear it. Like, especially dealing with these women.
Just can't hear it.
You know how men like to show out. You know, we living in the whole beat your back out.
Being Dougie Fresh.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't
it's too much.
You know, then you got to go. You know what I'm saying?
There's some trauma if you ever heard your parents have sex. That is kind of traumatic. So reverse that around. You definitely don't want to be here for your
Catching your
child.
grandparents have sex is traumatic as hell.
I
That's
would say that's probably traumatizing.
Yeah. But I don't know. I that's how I feel about this situation. It depends. It is. How y'all feel about that? Like, would y'all let y'all kids? Are y'all comfortable with y'all kids if they were adults having sex in y'all house?
And what considers them an adult?
And yeah, and what considers them adults to you?
You ain't
like
adult in my house until you paying the rent. Yo. If you split that rent with me, then you can fucking split the rent. You can fuck.
See, one thing about black people, my grandma used to always say, "You got to pay the cost to be the boss."
You
right?
do. It's true.
I never knew what the hell that meant. I was like, "Oh, grandma, I thought she just saying some old shit, right?" And so but as I got older, I realized you got to pay the cost to be the boss. So I feel like when it comes to black families, we feel like if you gonna pay the money,
there's certain shit you can't get away with. Like you can't take no long ass shower unless you pay the water bill.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. You can't. You know what I'm saying. You can't eat any food unless you help on a grocery bill. You can't fucking here unless you pay something on the rent.
Yeah.
But mama need you to understand it. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm taking it to another level, but I'm just saying. Yeah. Married, no, I don't mind.
Do you think
that she said married, she don't mind
I
it?
I did want to touch on something though, because I was thinking about what you said. I know you have kids, but I want to look at the overall picture. I feel like when it comes to pushing, the child leaving or staying, ultimately it depends on the child and your child. But also it's a matter of considering what that child wants to. Because I feel like sometimes as a parent, and I don't have no kids, just saying, like sometimes you think, okay, this may be best for your child, or you're used to doing things a certain way, so you feel that it should be done. But me being a teacher and dealing with all students, I'm able to see the different dynamics of families, like children who are being raised by grandparents, children who are in, foster homes, children who are in two-parent households. Sometimes, believe it, a lot of our kids are in two-parent households. Parents are, married and they still, act up. So sometimes it's not, what's going on at home. But with all that being said, it depends on the child. A lot of times, are they ready for that responsibility? Can they handle it? I don't think sometimes allowing a child to, what was popular recently, a lot of kids taking a gap year, right? Or taking what was it? Was it a gap year where they wouldn't go, I think.
Like that's a year in between.
Yeah, they would take a year
high
in
school
between high school and college, and they would travel or do whatever it is that they want to do.
Abroad.
I don't think anything is wrong with that, especially if that child has a plan, because I went to school. I was in school for 5 years. I had so many different, like in high school, I went from wanting to be a occupational therapist. I wanted to go to FAMI's program for that. It quickly switched to me wanting to be a pharmacist. Quickly switched to me wanting to be a nurse. Next thing you know, I was like, oh, this ain't working. Like I wanted to be a nurse, but it was difficult. The classes were hard. And it was like, I knew I was always born to be a teacher, but I didn't want to make teacher money. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think
money.
it just.
Let me ask you a question. Are you taking all these classes and bouncing around within your occupational field? Who's paying for that?
Wait, say that again?
Who was paying for it? Like you had grants and everything like that. So
yeah.
Boom. So I asked you that not to like set you up as check count your pockets or anything like that. I asked you that to be like, a lot of it has to deal with your economic status. Like if a parent is set up to the point where they can allow that child to stay there without having to bear the burden of that financial another person staying there beyond that wavy 18-year limit. You could afford that. Yeah, all right, I welcome that. You know what I'm saying? And then at the same time, I can afford to manipulate or send that child to college. So it has a lot to do with economic status, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I think to a certain extent.
My people also don't come from money. You know what I'm saying? Like my mom, she just got into education. She is a teacher assistant, but my mom, she, she went to trade school. She's a cosmetologist. She ran the salon out on base for years. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like my mom couldn't pay for me to go to school. I was driven. I made good grades. You know what I'm saying? So I applied for scholarships. But aside from that, like just me applying into UCF and, my background, me being a Black woman, financial aid, it was already within the system. Like I was getting scholarships that I didn't apply for, if that makes sense. So a lot of things, it came from my teachers. My mom wasn't even on me about applying for schools. It was one of those things where she knew I got fair reduced lunch, so I could apply for up to I think you could apply for 3 schools. Like you had a free application because you have to pay to apply for schools. Right. So I had, I think, a waiver to apply up to 3 schools at no charge. So all these things were happening because of the people around me, not because of my mom. My mom was a single parent of 3. My stepfather passed away going into my freshman year of high school. She was working most of the time. And when she wasn't working, she was at my brother's games.
Did you have any desire to stay at home?
I did. So initially the plan, like I said, I wanted to go to FAMU, had a change of heart. I wanted to go to UF. That was my dream school because my aunt had went to UF. And so, coming from a Gator, family, I was like, I want to continue with it. My high school counselor told me that I would not get into UF. And I wish I wouldn't have listened to her because I found out being at UCF, once I started learning different things, my situation is different than everybody else. They're going to look at me different than they look at a male student or a white female student. You know what I'm saying? Like I graduated top 10 in my class, above a 4.0, and my guidance counselor told me not to apply to this school. So because of that, I decided, okay, well, I'm just going to stay home, stay at Pensacola State or PJC at the time for 2 years, and then I'm going to transfer because they had that buddy program. Right. It was actually Verkeisha Tate Palmer. She was my reading teacher in high school who became a reading coach. And my senior year, one day she asked me, what are you doing? Like, are you going off? And I was like, no, I decided, whatever. She was like, what? And she told me straight up, she's like, I don't want you to get stuck here. She was like, not just, I just don't. She's like, I know you're driven. Like, I think you should go. Yeah. She called my mom. Well, she asked me first, she's like, have you heard back from any of the schools? I said, well, I heard back from FAMU, got into the school, had a change of heart. I said, I never heard back from UCF. So she calls the school and she's like, this child, applied, never heard back. They had changed the whole process. They were no longer sending acceptance letters in the mail. They had changed it to the online process. So here I am, had gotten into the school and didn't even know. But it took my teacher reaching out to me saying, hey, and then she called my mom and told my mom, was like, Alexis is, because she asked me, did I want to go? And I was like, I mean, yeah, but I didn't want to leave my mom. You know what I'm saying? Because at that point, I had already made my decision. I'm going to stay. And it was so late into the game. Like, I'm talking, this was like a couple months before I was about to graduate high school. And so because I had waited so long to, respond, the only way I could go was to go to summer school. And that was like $900 to $1,000 that we didn't have. And this lady on the phone, my mom saying, I will help pay for her if you allow her to go. So that's how I ended up going to school. But I had decided I was staying here. Yeah. I was content with staying here because I had the Bright Teacher Scholarship. And my whole thing was they were only going to pay for 75% of my academics at a university versus at a community college, they would have paid 100%. So I was doing what I felt was best because I'm like, well, that's less money I have to, I have to spend. But looking back at the bigger picture, I don't think that I would have done nearly the things that, I've experienced had I not taken that leap and gone off to school because UCF, they gave me a lot of opportunities. Like I studied abroad. I had none of my family have traveled out of the country. That's not a thing. You know what I'm saying? But me being a minority, like they paid for me to go to Botswana. You know what I'm saying? So because of different things, just because of 18, and how that one teacher and my mom agreeing, for me to go, it changed my whole life. I studied abroad, undergrad. And from like, I want to teach abroad. I lived in China for 3 years. I've traveled to over 33 countries. So it's not all about you being a product of your environment. I do think what you said, though, as far as like the cycles repeating, that's a very true thing. My grandmother was pregnant with my mom and my aunt, twins, you know what I'm saying? And she wanted better for her kids, you know what I'm saying? Because my uncle, who is the oldest, she struggled with him. And she was in her 30s. She went and, she tells this story all the time. She went to wherever and they said that, I guess back then you had to take a test to see what you were, what you could do. She became a nurse. You know what I'm saying? She always, it's a difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. You know what I'm saying? She wanted better for her kids. So she started the cycle. And then my mom, she wasn't even the same, necessarily on the same level as my grandmother. I feel like my grandmother could be considered middle class. My mom was actually considered lower class, but she still wanted better for us. And although she, wasn't necessarily in the same position as my grandmother, she pushed that on us.
Right.
But also let us know, like, I got you. And I feel like it's going to be the same with me and my brothers and us raising, them raising their kids and me raising my future kids.
Right. Yeah,
I know I said a lot, sorry, but yeah.
No, you good. I mean, I took a lot out of that, but like, where's the boundary between lower class, middle class, upper class? What is that? What is that lie at? You know what I'm saying? Who defines that?
Yeah, and I think now the gap. I remember when I was in school, which I don't think we not far apart at all.
When did you graduate high school?
They told us that.
Not going to answer that question.
When did you graduate?
I said, when did you graduate high school?
So what?
Did you graduate high school?
Yeah.
When?
In 2009.
Okay, I'm 2010.
You?
Yeah, 2010, a year after him.
Oh, I'm like 99. I'm like a decade beyond y'all. So like by the time y'all came through the mindset, it already changed a little bit. Yeah. So like, I don't know if I'm gonna say that. I'm making myself sound old, but I mean, it's a generational thing. I mean, but at the end of the day, each person has their own mindset. Like my first son isn't the same as my second son. Like there's no cookie cutter answer you could place on top of it. Like each person is like their own maturity level and moving at their own speed.
I'm sorry, I just saw that message and I love what she said. Your bills are your bills when your child was at home, when your child was 15 or age 23. Yeah. That's so true. I want to speak on that real quick because I'm 29 and I live with my mama right now, and I probably make more money than my mom, no lie. She doesn't require much of me.
Let's go back in there between 15 and 23. I don't know why she chose to put that age on there because that's a weird age. But okay, but like you live with, but you ain't bucking like that. You can't walk around neck. You can walk around neck with your mom, but you cannot operate like you want to. That's why I replied to it already. I said, yeah, until you want to.
I don't think. I think the point that she was trying to make is that, because you had said something about the financial, whatever the situation, but if you were able to do it when they were 9 or 10 years old, why can't you do it when they're 19 or 20 years old?
Because you're crippling them. You're crippling them.
I think that's what she's trying to do.
I get you. Basically, what she said is why put your responsibilities on your kids.
No, it's not. Okay, boom. You crippling them though. It's not. It's my responsibility because I'm an adult. I'm gonna have to do this anyway. But why don't I understand? I understand what she's saying, but you cripple somebody you keep crippling them by saying that.
Yeah, my job is.
You could do what you want to do, but like it's gonna be a point where I want to do what I want to do, so I can't. I'm not gonna be able to operate within these boundaries of living free. Yeah, I need to buck. Yeah. Can I buck here while I'm living free, Mom?
Well, I think it depends on the parent too, like we said. Some parents.
Well, that parent. That parent. I'm just playing. Let me stop. No, serious though.
Too, like we were saying earlier. So some parents are more lenient than others. Mm-hmm. Then you got some parents like how I grew up. My parents, my mother especially, her whole family were big on respect. But the women in our family were not big on forcing you out when you weren't ready.
And I disagree with that.
Yeah,
your bills as a child. Yeah. Okay, so 15, 16. Yeah, but if you're an adult and you operating as an adult, I can operate as a very scaled back version of that and maybe even buck or do something else. You know what I'm saying? So if you're paying, I think that changes the scales a little bit.
I guess if you're paying it, it'll make you feel like now I have something.
I kind of want to. It's like playing. It's like practice. Yeah. I'm setting you up to be a responsible adult. I got to give you some practice. You can't live here free. Like you can't live nowhere else free. I gotta give you some practice. You gotta do something. You gotta pay something. Yeah. And it's not because I can't afford you not to pay something. I gotta work you in some kind of schedule or something eventually. You probably got a job at this point, or you probably doing whatever. I gotta give you some practice. Get you some practice.
But why does it have to be about money? Why can't you just be doing something? Why can't you just
You can. You be going to school or something, whatever.
So it don't have to necessarily be being contributing.
Yeah, you could be
in school.
As long as you're doing something.
Yeah.
I just feel like the point that this person is trying to make is like similar to my mom's. I live with her and I do help you know, with a bill or two. But my mom don't believe in splitting everything I have because her whole thing was, this is my mortgage. I was paying this mortgage before you came. You know, I can pay my mortgage. Of course, you know, I'm not gonna take advantage of my mom, and I contribute in different ways. But it's not a, oh, you back in the house, so we split everything in half. That's just not what it is. But she also knows that I'm a single woman, no kids, and you know, I love to travel and I like to do things. So she allows me to spend my money on the things I want to. She thinks it's not smart of me to go get my own place or get my own house, because then I'm spending over $1,000 a month when I'm gonna be at her house, in my grandma's house, in my auntie house anyway. You know,
I agree.
So,
That's like a good set. I agree. I agree. I think it is different for women and men though. Yeah, I really do. I really do. Because I ain't gonna lie.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
So,
I really do. Yeah.
I'm gonna be
Yeah, because you think that most women, if you see like how you just explained the situation with you, and from what it sounds like, and I'm pretty sure for everybody gathering from the situation, that your mom cares about your well-being to a point where she wants you to enjoy your life the best way that you can, while you do not have certain responsibilities right now. So you won't be tied down to certain things. But for a man, we don't always get that same respect because you are a man, you are expected to do certain things. So a woman can have it like that, have the same situation and encounter a man like that, and a woman will say, well, I can't deal with him because he ain't working, or he ain't doing this, or he ain't doing that. So it could be a difference. And I'm not saying all women, because you have some women who are be cool with it. If you have a plan, they cool with it. You know what I'm saying? But you do have a lot of women, like you said, it does, for a lot of households, sex does play a part in the
But also when it comes to men, sometimes it could be y'all's pride. Maybe y'all feel like y'all have to do this because I'm a man.
That's the standard that was set. I'm a man. I cannot live.
Maybe y'all don't want the help.
I can't live with my mother. I have to leave the nest and go make my own house. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because the economic situation is different from what it was 50, 40 years ago. But we still are held at the same standard of what it was 40, 50 years ago. And people expect more from you now. They expect more from you now because they see that it's a change, but they don't even break down what the change really is. So it's like they're not getting no understanding. Like, as men, you should have certain things, do certain things. But just like women go through certain things as early as childhood, men go through traumas of childhood too that delay their mental progress. So I don't know. I like we said, it depends on everybody's situation. Yeah. I appreciate y'all for coming to sit with me tonight. I definitely got to get with y'all again. I definitely got to get with you because you're traveling over 33 countries.
This is fun.
Got a lot of stamps on your passport.
Yeah, every time I look, she's somewhere different.
Yeah, I seen you had them with the
second passport.
Oh, you want to?
And the first one, it's because I ran out of pages, not because it expired.
Hey, is King S still on here? Is King S still on here? What I mean? She did. That was supposed to be. That's your fake success over there. She's at they're harassing you because you say you got no more space on your passport, huh? Not because you're black. They're stopping you like, hey, what's the problem? You ain't got no more space. Not because I'm black, but because I have no more space on my passport to get no more stamps on them. But these bills are motherfuckers. See how I'm talking about? They talking about them bills, man.
Yeah,
them bills. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely thing. Hey, y'all, if y'all make sure if y'all want to go to the I Love 90s Throwback Comedy Tour, and y'all trying to get free tickets. Well, first I'm coming to. We got Michael Hunter, Dirty South, Steve Brown, Redbone, Doodle Brown, Marvin Dixon, and it'll be hosted by Double D. It's going to be held at the Pensacola Singer Theater. And if y'all want to win free tickets, make sure that y'all text 548-3968. And if y'all just listening, 833-548-3968 to win some free tickets.
May I ask you a question? Was being on this show exclude me from winning the tickets?
No.
Oh, that's awesome. About to text the shit out that number. Y'all don't even text in if y'all listening. I'm gonna win all the tickets. I'm going by my
Make sure y'all text that number, man, so y'all can win free tickets to the comedy show. And I'll be hopefully giving out some free tickets on this show. Make sure y'all check us out each and every Thursday. Especially next week, man, we're gonna be touching on sports a little bit. And talking about I'm gonna have a young brother here who we're gonna be talking about how a lot of young men are going to sports and they get hurt. They ride on full scholarships and they get hurt. And a lot of times when they get dropped, they aren't able to get picked up from other schools. So it's pretty hard. And I have somebody in here telling their story on that. So make sure y'all check us out next Thursday at 8 p.m. I pray that y'all might be blessed. And bro, I know you got, tell them about your art.
Oh man, John Rublin Art Entertainment. It's really a plethora of all kind of artistic things. We got photography, videography, art. I'm trying to get away from doing as much custom art we do. I can do custom artwork. It's just a plethora of all type of things, and we kind of do one-stop shop for artists, man. We do audio recording, voiceover. It's not too much we can't do outside the realms of what you can think and create. So you just look me up, John Rublin. You know what I'm saying? We're not hard to find. I think I'm on the link somewhere here. Just so we do
and I
everything.
Tagging my page, y'all. So make sure y'all be looking out for him. You got any announcements? Anything you want to throw out there?
I sell lock charms. My Instagram is Lex Lock Charms. So if you're looking for lock charms or nose cuffs, rings, I wrap crystals as well. So
you get my energy right. Energy,
I don't know about
crystals
and stuff. I just wrap
them.
them.
You just wrap them. So if I bring them to you, I can get them wrapped.
Yeah. Once again, man, I appreciate y'all. Shout out to the Balewa family. I appreciate y'all from everywhere. We got Texas in the building. We had Washington up in the building. I appreciate everybody that checked in with us tonight. And make sure, like I said, if y'all can't watch us, y'all download the Real Women Radio app and y'all can listen to us live each and every Thursday night. Like I said again, y'all have a blessed night. We'll see y'all again next week.
Boom, boom.